Hi again, Toasty. It's Neo here. I've watched most of both of your VODs actually, and I have mostly good things to say. I do not think you look like a bronze tank anymore, like at all. So I'm just gonna give you a few tips, like new tips, because I've noticed, like I've seen you implement a lot of the stuff I've already said, so I appreciate it. Okay. Like that. Try. So this knife, we could aim it a little bit better because we know this Zen is going to try to get on point, so we can aim it in front of him, maybe about right here, and try to hit it that way. But it was a good attempt. So now right here I want us to get really aggressive. We can see that the Mei is half health, so I really want us to shout so we get that speed boost because she's slowing us down with this freeze. And get the cleave on her if we can, but I really want us to shout in here. And now this, if we didn't do it earlier, this is a very juicy position because she no longer has ice block. So I want us to shout because we want that temp health. It's not the worst, and speed boost, we want both. But it's not the worst thing if we take some damage and then do it. And then I want us to cleave. So I don't know if you know this, but the way cleave works is if it hits multiple people, the cooldown is shorter. So you have a really juicy carnage right here that you could hit on both of these people. So I want us to go in and hit that. Very beautiful. It's exactly what you did. And this is perfect. This is literally perfect. Sucks the Mercy got the res. I'm gonna watch back and see if that's something we could have been aware of. We see the Mercy, and we see her fly in. We could try and stop her, but we're reloading and we don't have cleave, so it would have been hard. But right here, I want us to really focus that Mercy because we know she's in a really vulnerable position from having just rezzed. And she's gotten this, and we hit her with the cleave, I think, so we can really look at her. So instead of hitting S, I want us to hit W into her. Or you're on a controller. I want you to hit forward instead of hitting back. Luckily the Genji gets her, so I like focusing the Rhine, and then we know the Mei is still over there. Now we've heard her use block to the left of us. Make sure you don't lose track of players in your mind. So we know she's back there. We got the Moira with it, so we can push up now because we know she died. We won't have a healer, but it's fine because our healer is Mercy, so she can come get to us. I like that. Reload here, nice. We can hear the Rhine to our right. Yep. Nice looking at him. We can definitely push him here. I would shout and cleave into him. Especially with the Mercy right there. It's a very juicy 2k cleave. I like what you did though, and I love that you did that combo. Very good. Good cleave. I like that you redirected it toward the Mei. Mei is a free kill here, I think, so I would focus on her because after she uses that ice block, it's very, very easy to finish her off. So I would keep staring at her and try and get it this way. Don't worry too much about the Rhine duel. When the DPS and the enemy team use critical cooldowns, we can punish them for doing that. So what I mean by like critical cooldowns is Mei freeze is a big one, Genji deflect is a big one, Reaper Wraith is a big one. If you see any of those, I want you to switch your attention to that person. They can still get healed and stuff, so if the support is juicy, you can do that. But DPS who have used their cooldown, their kind of cleansing cooldowns, or their like get out of jail free cooldowns, those are very, very juicy targets, especially for you on Junkerqueen. I like this shout, but I want us to go in even further with it. Like if we're gonna shout, we want to try and take advantage of that overhealth when we can. So during that time, we could shout a little bit later, go in, take some damage, and then fall out while we still have the speed boost. So shout is the strongest cooldown you have. I would also be looking for a Junkerqueen ult here, although we have 5 ults, so we just used 1, so now we use 2. Fine, we got shattered. We shout as soon as we get out. Very nice. We're looking for a cleave. Moira doesn't have any cooldowns, so we can get her. I would just cleave her here. As soon as we see her Wraith right there, we can just hit E and then walk into her, and then the cooldown will happen and we can get her for sure. To the right? Yeah, that's fine. So that's another critical cooldown is Wraith. On Moira, it's not the same as like I know I said DPS earlier, but that's the same thing too. If people use like movement cooldowns and like ones that are on longer cooldowns especially, that's like very good to capitalize on. This is good. I would shout into their team. Nice. Very good. We can hear the Genji. Behind us. Or the Moira to the right. Just pick one. We can get this Moira for sure. Nice try. She doesn't have Wraith now either. Shout. You need to shout right there for your team, because when you shout, your team gets 50 extra health. So when you hear this, and your team gets a boost. So when you hear this, you can shout and immediately help your supports, and they can kind of speed away. It worked out, but just know that in general, if that happens again and the Genji's blading you guys like that, you can shout to try and give your supports some help. Also, your gameplay looks so much better, and I would not think this is bronze. So I'm a bit shocked if you still are in bronze 5. Just keep playing like this, and honestly keep playing Junkerqueen, and I think you'll be pretty good. So I want us to shout into the Rhine, because we know he's to our right now. Or we can try and get this Mercy, but definitely shout. Yeah. If we're gonna, you can take a little bit of damage and then shout, but be wary of, it's also good to get aggressive with it. So you can shout and then go in. It's unfortunate. It's nice we didn't actually get hit. I love how much we're using our cooldowns. It's very, very good. The only thing is I think our shout timing. This is very nice. I'd melee him. Very good. And we can shout into these two. Very nice melee. I would push them here. Because we see the Mercy right here. She flew really close to us. It's a very split second that we see it. But when I see that Mercy fly in, I'm like, this is juicy. We're about to get cleave back. We could try and knife her because close range knives are really easy. And pull her in even closer. We don't need to be the one capping. Only one person needs to cap it. It doesn't need to be us. So I really think we could have gotten that Mercy kill there. Now we're down our Moira, and our Mercy kind of wants to res it, but it's okay. Yeah, push up, hold. With all tanks, we want to try and hold here. And then if they get this space, then we fall back. Your supports should come with you, and as people get higher elo, they'll definitely start going with you. But generally, we want to try and hold this doorway. Or this one is okay, but I don't know why people love holding this doorway. And then if it gets dicey, you can shout and fall backwards. And that would be good. We see the Rhine behind us. Ooh, very nice. I really love that you tried to do the combo there. But we know the Rhine's behind us, so I want us to look at him. Just because we put a lot of front pressure on him. I like trying to trade backlines, but I also think that the Rhine for us on Junkerqueen is very easy to push, especially since he doesn't have any supports. Oh, you also need to know that the enemy... This is lost. Yeah. We need to know that the enemy now has a Curiko, so before we ult, we need to make sure they use Cleanse. Cleanse is the biggest counter to our ult, and so I always, when I say I want to ult, I start asking my teammates to call for it, but also it's like pretty easy to hear. It's such a loud sound. And there's not a Curiko on your team either, so it's not like you'll confuse the two sounds. Very nice try. Try and jump a little bit less too, just a little. They used Cleanse. Beautiful. And then we want to try and cleave him. Very nice tries. I want us looking at the Rhine for a second. Very good. Good attempts. I think if we walked into him, we could have gotten it, but it's hard to know. Focus the Mercy. This is probably lost. We can shout and get out, I think. Because I don't think we are getting healed anymore. They just res. Yeah, we just need to die. Oof. Okay, this is turnaroundable now, actually. Your Moira got 2 and you got 1. I want you to shout and go into the Rhine and cleave him. Very good. Yeah, don't be afraid to just be in a Reinhardt's face as Junkerqueen. The only thing we don't want to do is get pinned by him, so that's the biggest thing we just gotta look out for. And if we do, we just shout as soon as we get out of it, so. We know he doesn't have pin, so we can try and push up. Nice try. Yeah, really jump a little bit less if you can. Very nice. So this is a little cheeky, but what we can do is, you know, we've landed this knife on the Rhine. We can try and pull him into this hole. So if we just go to the other side of it, especially when he's right here, if we just go a little bit to the left and then pull the knife back, he might fall into this pit, and it's gonna take him a while to come back up. It's not necessarily like it just puts it to where this you just take him out of the fight for like a solid like 7 seconds, which is massive. So if you can get somebody into this pit with Junkerqueen, I'd do it. I need you, Gracie. And you almost got him in, so it was a very good attempt. Now that I love this knife pull, by the way, beautiful. That is not bronze 5. Solid try. Nice, we get her. We hear the Genji. Nice. Nice, and we can push up with shout. So this is such BM, but I want you to do it. If you get in this scenario right here, I want you to run into the Rhine, put a knife in him, run past the Rhine, and call the knife back. It'll stop him from touching. He doesn't touch anyway, but if you put this knife in here and you run to like where the Mercy is and then you pull it back, he won't touch. It's really cheeky, but I love it. Okay, so that VOD you did super well. That's not a bronze 5 player, and I can tell you've become like very comfortable with Junkerqueen, and you've become very comfortable with like the combo and other things like that. So let's look at the next VOD. And oh, this is the same one. Heck. Okay. It was KR? Yeah.
Now entering King's ready.
Okay.
Ready for battle.
So I can tell you're less comfortable with Orisa than Junkerqueen, but you're still pretty decent at her, and I don't think you're bronze 5 on either of these tanks, so I don't know how much you play, but I just think you keep playing, and if you keep playing Junkerqueen the way you have been, the only thing is I think you could be a little bit more aggressive with your shouts, and that's about it. This is fine. I like all this. I always want Javelin to be on cooldown for a majority of the time. It's such a short cooldown, you should just use it constantly. I like you not letting your gun overheat there. Just keep firing, yeah. Keep firing. You don't have to, you can fire, so if you're, wherever you're firing, you just throw the Javelin while you're doing it. You don't have to stop and aim it. So just keep firing. Because we want our gun to be a little bit hot when we use our Javelin spin, because that way as we're spinning, the cooldown will go down. So we want our gun to be hot when we're spinning. Yeah, we don't have to let it go down all the way too. We can just go a little bit. I like this. I want to switch Javelin. Beautiful. So after this, I would fortify and get in her face. Don't be afraid to fortify aggressively and then get in someone's face, because they can't headshot you and you can headshot them. This is fine. I want us Javelining. Very nice. This is okay, but if we're gonna be here, I want us to fortify and then kind of like peek Fiona really hard. Nice tries. Very good. You can maybe look at the map, but I like how much we're holding down this space. We're putting a lot of pressure on their tank, so it's hard for them to push in. They're really split right now. Their DPS is about to flank, but you've created and like held this space very, very well. We can hear the Sojourn to our right. She dies, so we don't have to worry about it. Okay, I don't know what you're doing here, but it's okay. Definitely I want you to fortify and go into them. I want you to be aggressive when you know we've gotten the Sojourn. We're even now, which is unfortunate, but I think we can demech the D.Va, especially since they've used Lamp, so we can just be a little bit more aggressive. So especially she's used missiles, so that's a lot of her damage is gone. We can just fortify and get in her face. We can maybe push the Baptiste while we're doing it. Nice try. Okay, we see the Bastion. We spin, but we don't. It takes us a while to spin into cover. So now he's forced out both of our cooldowns. So when we were spinning, we were like here, and then we went this way. When we needed to spin, I needed you to spin and go this way. Because that way we don't have to peek the Bastion on wheels, and he has to peek us instead. Bastion on wheels is one of the scariest things as a tank. Now we have... I really want us to try and play this natural cover to the right. I love this. I don't think you intended to pull them into the dragon, but it was very good. This is also good. Don't worry about the D.Va, just focus on the front of us. We're in the Mort, so we're okay. But now we need to... right here. Once we get gripped, and we get to about this much health... a little bit more maybe, I want us to just go back down and take this frontline fight. It sucks we don't have Fortify, but we do have Javelin spin, and we don't need to spin in. We can just walk in, stand here. If we take too much damage, then we can spin. And then by then, like, this on is a free kill if we're just closer range. So I want us to go in and push. And if we're spinning, I want us spinning into them. I want us brawling. I want us kind of playing like we're JQ. Because this does damage. If the Bastion looks at us, we have to fortify immediately, and we're in a very precarious position. So I really want us mostly playing right here, because it's in better LOS of our supports, because we know the Lifeweaver is there. And then if we can try and fall back to back here. It sucks because we won't be contesting point, but I really just want us to try and contest this part of the point as much as possible. And then maybe we can fall back this way. Maybe we can fall back this way. Like, and we know where our Lifeweaver is, so this is in his good LOS. See, like, he can't see us right now. We can fortify, but we don't have anywhere to, we don't have cover. We just got spin back, so maybe we could have tried that, but it's kind of unlikely. Just gonna preemptively do that. So now our team needs to regroup. We can see all 4 of them, so hopefully none of them die before we get there. That's unfortunate. Could we have spun? So we spun to get out. I'd spin again right here when we get it again. Just do it again. Or our team isn't going to regroup because this is bronze, but they need to. And now we're behind, so we need to spin out because we're down 2. So what's about to happen here is our team's going to get very, very staggered, and we're going to completely give away second. Spin, but go backwards. And I want us just using all of our cooldowns to get back. This is fine. But fortify and go backwards. Yes, nice. This is unfortunate. We almost got spin back. So now we completely gave up second because our team went for a staggered push. It's not our fault that happened. This is very scary. Just try and get out of LOS. Because we took way too much damage. So when we see it go that way, let's look at it this way. So we've already used spin, and I think this was a little bit unneeded because what we need to be saving our Javelin spin for is really Bastion on wheels. We can do D.Va micro missiles, but she's not even using them here. So I would just be weary about using it for a situation that's not a lot of damage coming at us really fast. And I know she's about to throw the D.Va bomb, and it's probably going to land about here. So we don't have our movement ability, but we could probably try and kite it this way. Or worst comes to worst, we could go this way. This is very scary, considering there's a Bastion right there. But if we had both of our cooldowns, we could worry about it a little bit less. But, so we used spin a bit too early here. The cooldown we can, yeah, it's actually team didn't save you. The cooldown we can use a lot of on Orisa is the javelin. The other two are a lot more, you need to use those 2 cooldowns with intention behind them, and we don't want to stack them. That's probably the worst thing we could do. So when we spin, I want us to have a reason that why we're spinning. And if we fortify, I want us to have a reason. And don't be afraid for either of those reasons is I wanted to get aggressive. Just the problem is if you use one to get aggressive, don't use the other one to, and vice versa. So if you're fortifying to get aggressive, then you need to spin to get out. And if you're spinning to get aggressive, then you need to fortify to get out. We can get a pretty, we don't need to ults. Fortify? I would just fortify and push into them here. Because what's killing us is this window. So if we either javelin spin forward or we fortify and get forward, and we can kill them. But because we go backwards, we take a lot of damage from the window. And they both survive when we could have definitely killed them. So we want to be in a closer fight when we play Orisa. This is fine. I wish we had spin so we could go in. This is fine though. I like that we fortified to get aggressive. I like that we ulted to keep fortify. We should focus the Zen there, but it's fine because we got the Baptiste. I don't mind the grip there from our Lifeweaver. We're fine with that ult. Orisa is actually pretty good at doing damage to the Widow. So don't be afraid to damage her here. And don't be afraid to be shooting before you javelin. So like right here when you peek, shoot, javelin. This is fine. I like javelin and Bastion's damage. Or javelin spin does. Nice try there. This Zen we could fortify, or we could I would just javelin spin into his face. Because look at how aggressive he's getting. You can just javelin spin in his face, hit a bunch of headshots with your fusion cannon, and then fortify to get out. Your controller's dying. You can javelin. No, we don't have it. Okay, this is fine. I like this. It's unfortunate they had to get both of our cooldowns out, but we can play around the payload as natural cover. Focus is Zen. You got him really, really low. We can try and finish him off. So the way you'll climb playing as a tank is when you punish people when they make mistakes. That Zen, when he pushed in earlier, was a mistake. I wanted us to capitalize on it. The way he just pushed right there, that was also a mistake. We could capitalize on it. It's nice trying to just neutralize the enemy tank, but it's even more to punish people, like specific people, when they make mistakes. And that's partially what I was talking about earlier when I was talking about like DPS using their kind of invulnerable cooldowns. After they use them, if they're not in a good position, they've made a mistake, and as a tank we can capitalize on that. Very nice try. I'd fortify and get in their face, or you can javelin spin and get in their face. I like that we're trying to play natural cover, but we don't necessarily need to play this cover when there's also like this cover. We could be here, and then if you push them all the way back over there, we can play here. Like, your positioning is good, but I would just want you to be more aggressive. So I want his javelin spinning in. This is fine, I like this. Hopefully the lamp gets gone away, but it doesn't. This is good. I want his fortifying. Yeah, remember there's damage reduction when you fortify, so if you fortify when you're low health, you get 1, a little bit of over health, and 2, damage reduction. This is fine. Just, you see the Widow, Punisher. Yep. That's what I mean by punishing people out of position. I want us shooting the Baptiste. Shoot the lamp. Nice. Now shoot the Bap. Very good. Javelin spin into him. Force him to look at you instead of look at his tank. Fortify against her Swords and Swords ultimate. It's very scary to get headshot by it. Okay, we held. So I didn't watch this part as much, so it's not like I really planned too much stuff out anyway. Nice knife. Okay. So something to note. When I see this, and I see that their Widow, hold on, let's go. they're out the gate, right?
Defend objective
We're blue team. Red team gets a kill on our Hanzo immediately. So now we know that they have a sniper, they have a damage boosted sniper, and she's not bad. So we're down one as we do this push. Luckily, we get the kill on the Sojourn, so that means that we're even going into this push. And then our Widow dies and we hear the audio cue for that. So now we are down both DPS right now. And we know that they have a damage boosted sniper who is good. She's now gotten 2 headshot kills within the first 11 seconds of this round. So it's just kind of, this tells me we need to be, even as a tank player, but because we're playing JQ and she is a damage boosted Widow, we need to be wary of the Widow because she can do so much damage to us and she's not bad. I want us shouting and going into the ram to force out his cooldowns. So what you can do is, if we're like here, we can shout, go into the ram, he'll pop Nemesis, and while we still have the speed boost, we can come back out. Because his Nemesis is kind of the equivalent to our shout, so we're trading a good cooldown for a good cooldown. See? And then now we can just fall back with it, which I like. Good tech. Very good tech. Great headshots. Sucks our Lucio died. He needed to come back with us. I love this. It's unfortunate he wasn't pulled back more, but that's because of the tank passive. It's a very good try. So we need to be weary about how much we're pulling, one, how much we showed ourselves here, and 2, where and what our healers are. Our healers are Lifeweaver and Lucio, so they're going to be a little bit lower, and it's going to be hard for us to get burst healed. Luckily, that's good what Shout is for. We also just heard the Sojourn go use Slide to the left. Slide is another one of those cooldowns you want to capitalize when they've been used. So I really want us turning to the left and punishing her for sliding next to us. See, we see her slide. I want us pushing her. Push her, push her, push her. Let me see where she is actually. So it's when you see stuff like that. Okay, I don't know why this decided to show up. Okay, when you see stuff like that, that is, this is a mistake. What she just did, even though she got a kill, is a mistake because you are the protector of your team. And you're not going to let that happen. And even if you do, you trade, and your spawn is closer than their spawn, so every trade that you guys get is beneficial. So I want you like shouting and carnaging to her. The second we see that slide into our team away from this, we want to go get it. And we kill her, which is massive. Okay, so the second we kill her, we know the Mercy's gonna res. I would just hold E right here, and that way it'd hit the Mercy when she does this. A lot of Mercies at this elo are especially gonna be slow with their reses. As you climb, they're gonna be a lot faster. But once we get that kill and we know the Mercy's gonna go for it, just preempt the Carnage cooldown. Very nice. We see that Widow up there, I'm scared. Yep, good, good, good. And now we can play this side and we don't pick the Widow. Really be wary about what is it called? It's like curving, winding out this far. Swinging, that's what I wanted to sing. We'd be really wary about swinging out this far when we see the Widow right there because we know she's good. Very nice. We shouldn't, oh, okay. I was thinking we shouldn't need the ult here. I'm very glad you stopped the res, and that's the exact thing I was just talking about, so very good. We know where the Widow is. I like that you're watching her. Definitely get a knife here. Nice try. We hear the Widow, her heals. So we could have either tried to save the knife for the Widow. It's very nice. I think you could have just meleeed her regularly. Because we see her get hacked and stuff, so just melee. And then we could use that in the Sojourn. I think your controller's just dying. I like that we're looking at the map. We don't need to ult this because they're not going to contest. I don't mind it. I think it was a little unneeded. It's much better to use it for next fight, but because we capped, we don't necessarily need it. Because even if we lose, our spawn is right there. And I don't hate it. So I like that we're looking at the map. Oh my gosh, so good, so good. So when we have visual on the Mercy here, I would just get closer to her, load Carnage, and then try and hit her right here. So right here we could hit E or hit our Carnage button, and then here we would get her. I do like that you get the melee on her though. I like pulling the ram into our team. I want us knifing. Very good. I love how much you're using your knife cooldown now. Like, it's very, very obvious to me how many hours you have on Junkerqueen now. And this does not look bronze 5. I honestly think that if you just keep playing Junkerqueen and you just get a little bit more used to switching to the DPS targets after they use like very, very specific cooldowns, that you'll climb. Like, I have no doubt. Just keep playing like this. Even just playing like this, I don't think this is bronze 5. I want us a little bit further up here. I want us like here. And then if things get dicey, we can go like this way. Or we could try, yeah, that's about it. That's about where I want us about here. We could try and take a fight here, and then we could shout and go backwards. The problem is there's just not that much natural cover, so we can kind of use this wall for cover. I love that you're not on the payload, though. Like, I want us to push up. I want us to shout and Carnage. Very good. I'd ult. Right here. Do you see that Mercy? She's tasty. Very good. I want you ulting. I want you to look into your left and ulting. Or ult here. Ult here. Yeah. So, one thing that I was just saying about like ulting is if you ulted when I called it the first time, you'd probably be about 30% to another ult. Because look, you're already 16% to an ult. Already. So it's like you could be like 30-40% to another ult if you did it when I initially called it. And it's things like that that will increase your uptime. So your ultimate is also another cooldown. It's just a cooldown in a very different way. So if you're holding it, you're holding another cooldown. Okay, so this is something you can get used to the timing of as you play Junkerqueen more. So you cancel your reload. So we'll look at it in the practice range, but I want you to see that you had to reload twice here because of the way you did this. So let's really look at what I'm talking about. Something you'll get the timing of. Oh, that reloads your gun. Right here. Yeah, we end up having to reload twice. But the second time you do it correctly. I didn't know that Junkerqueen reloads your gun. It's a good thing to know. I'm just pushing up. Push up. You don't have to shout, you can just walk up. I want this to be like right there. I want to punish them for taking that corner. I'll definitely knife him down. Oh, he died. Nice. I love this. I want us looking at the Mercy to the left. Yep. Look at that. Very nice. You can take a little bit of time to land your headshot on that. Very nice. Knife. You can pull it back, and it would hit him. If you pulled it back right about... I'm surprised it didn't hit him. Pull it back right here, it would hit him. Just a little bit of angling and stuff that it ended up not doing it. It's good. Yep. Push in. Push in extra hard now that we beated. I love this. They use lamp. Tasty. Great ult. Fantastic. You want to look at the Mercy. You see her in the room. She's trapped in that room. Look at her. That's another thing. So we see this, we see her before this. But the reason I'm saying this is because this is what I mean. This is a mistake. Look at her. We have visual on her. She's half health. She's ours. We can carnage in and try and hit her. But instead she kind of goes into the room and we look at the ram. But I think if we carnaged her right there, she'd definitely be dead. And that's a mistake, her playing right there. You can get her. Aw, man. That sucks. Good try. I want you to shout and go into them. You saw their tank went off the map. Nice. Very good. Very good. You can try and knife somebody into the dragon. There, this is good. Hey, you guys just win. I think you get a little bit better at identifying what these like mistakes are that I'm talking about, and so you can capitalize on them even more. But honestly, the things that you're doing, you're so much better than the first VOD I watched of you doing it. It's actually crazy how much better you've gotten, and that is not a bronze 5 player. If you stay bronze 5 for like 2 more cards, I think there's something really messed up, because you're playing fine. Just keep playing Junkerqueen. So what are we gonna talk about? We're gonna talk about our ammo. So let me use my full clip here. So I don't necessarily fully know the ammo reload on Queen, but I know it for other it's ammo animation cancel. And so I'm familiar with it with other heroes, and so I'm pretty sure it's the same thing. When you see this number on the bottom right actually hit that number, you can use an ability. You can input another ability, and it will have it's essentially called so I did it there, and I might have to reload my gun again. But if the number goes to 6, I can put in a different input, and I don't have to sit through this extra part of the gun reload. So if you do it normally, you have to do this whole thing. She doesn't have to do that end punch if you put in a different input into a button input. So when we do this, we can hit 6. I did it a little late, but that's what I'm trying to show you. So it's something as you play a hero that you really get used to the timing of, to where, oh, I can increase my uptime by just point to whatever percent if when I do when I'm reloading, I knife right here instead of making her do that that dumb extra punch at the end. I hope that makes sense. It's such like a small thing, but if you are gonna one trick a hero, it's something I want you to I want this to be at the very, very back of your mind of like, oh, okay, I'm reloading, bam. Because this is a very high elo thing, but if you learn it at low elos, you are able to apply it at higher elos. So that's something I want you to think about, is like doing an input. It's like very situational, but it's something that where you don't have to reload twice, and that'll increase your uptime. Okay. I know the last thing's a little confusing, but I hope this was helpful, and yeah, have good games. You're definitely gonna climb.